that he tested positive for cocaine. I couldn't find that. I just saw a little kid fall outside. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is he all right?
Yeah. Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhymes that are coming from.
All right, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. That's going to be my new greeting. I'm just going to throw all three out there. You have no idea until it was going to get dark here soon. So, well, I've just sold myself out. I've ratted on myself. I've dry snitched. Anyway, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever. This is episode 34 or 5. I think it's 34, right? Oh, I thought you were saying. Anyway, Vic, say hello.
You.
Vic is here. I think this is episode 34. We're going to talk about the NBA bubble that is about to happen in Orlando. Probably, I guess, not just talk about it. We're going to talk about a more general view of it, kind of. Last week, we kind of got into some of the specifics about what we can expect from teams and some of those questions. But now, last night, there was a 100-page or so, right? 100 pages, was it?
100 plus.
Yeah, 100 plus manifesto. I got to give it to all of these guys, ESPN, CBS. I mean, they ripped through 100 pages and immediately break it down for us to read. But these things, I mean, this includes details like they're going to get a new pack of playing cards. I mean, it's like a basketball, like in between games, they get a new pack of playing cards, essentially, shit like that. That you got to give it to the NBA, who they just know, they know their players. Playing cards are a part of the NBA as long as NBA sneakers have been part of the NBA, pretty much. So things like that they really get into some of the details. So we figured we would talk about some of that today. Which is interesting. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't know. Vic, a week ago, I kind of got to a point where I was pretty sure that this was not going to happen. I was kind of like, this is not happening. You know what I mean? I don't know if you ever felt that way, or were you kind of positive that this was going to go forward?
No, I don't think I was. I was sort of in between the whole time. I could see because information about COVID seems to be so random and so very different every time we get some kind of new announcement that's supposed to be the scientific, that they could find out next week that COVID causes cancer and then it's over.
Yeah.
So I was always on the fence. It comes back great. If not, I get it.
Yeah. But, yeah, and that's a good point, because what I'm seeing a lot of now, especially on Twitter, is people talking about their post-COVID situation after they've quote-unquote recovered, how their breathing just isn't the same. Some of them seem to have contracted asthma. Now, again, this is on Twitter. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Who the fuck knows what that means? Right. But that's not to say that they're all lying. Essentially, the point really being that no one is really exactly sure what happens. I know, I've had walking pneumonia and bronchitis, and it takes usually 2 months or so to recover, before I actually can breathe like I normally breathe. So could be just, a situation like that. But with everything happening right now, with all the protests, I do think there's a world where cases spike. And it's not just because of the protest. It's also because states are moving into less restrictions. I mean,
a lot of them opening up.
Yeah, motherfuckers were out last week, last weekend. And I'm here watching on Instagram and Twitter, and people are just at restaurants dining outside, no masks, sitting right next to each other like nothing is going on, as if sitting outside in a room of 30 people is better than just sitting inside in a room of 30 people.
The big difference is the air being caught.
Of course, but if I'm sitting across from you and
we're
not having masks, you're fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the point. I could see a situation where cases spike again. And this August. Yeah, I mean, but continue an upward trend, right? Because there's going to be the protest, I guess it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Not that it's, because I know that people are waiting for that shoe to drop to be like, you see the protest, there's all the racist people that want to use that. Right. And it's well, that's not in good faith and not an honest diagnosis of what's happening. It probably is going to happen. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about thousands of people pulling their masks off in situations where they're getting pepper sprayed, maced, stuff like that, where they're going to be available to the environment around them. So, but who knows? Maybe pepper spray cures it, and we'll all go fucking. Hey, hit me with that pepper spray bomb real quick. That's not funny. So with that said, let's talk about some of these things. So we have ESPN's article up here. Just some basic points, I guess. I guess the biggest thing, the one thing you did point out too, is that so if a player leaves, you said it's going to be 10 days, right? That's essentially what you read. Let me see if I can find that.
It's down here. It's like regardless of who you are, you're going to have to be quarantined. Like even later on when families can come, but everybody has a different quarantine timetable, which I find very, very interesting and don't really understand.
Yeah. I mean, I did read the thing about the families. I mean, I read that last night, and you also said, but it was only going to be for the playoffs. So then that even confused me a little bit more.
Yeah. So this is the thing. They only have those 3 hotels.
Yeah.
So once the teams that don't make the playoffs leave, those vacant rooms now will be available to families.
Which is interesting because as I have pulled up over here, and everything is moving so slow on this laptop, so I don't know how great I'm going to be able to actually move back and forth. But these are the 3 hotels right here, with the breakdown of the team. So that's why they did it by tier. I guess that makes sense now. That I read that yesterday. They did it by tier. So in their hopes, if this bottom tier, the yacht club, is all bounced out of the playoffs, which know it might be a safe assumption, then all the families get to load into there.
Correct. And then they can all be quarantined in their rooms for
what's going to fuck that up is when the Sixers end up out, and that's going to really ruin those plans. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just angry. Okay.
So there was a lot of stuff that like was very interesting. So like I think you mentioned before we even started recording. Or maybe no, you started talking about right now. Where like all the little things they know players do. Like we're not going to tell you can't do it, which is smart. We're just going to find accommodations. So the cards thing, ping pong, can't play doubles. And then like they have there's going to be a DJs there quarantined with them. Barbers, they're going to get movies released to them earlier than the general population. Yeah. To keep them like entertained, I guess.
Yeah. They're also going to have 2K, which like I read that. I was like, I'm not going. I'm not going.
They also like at practice, they can't have multiple people on the floor at the same time.
Yeah. Which is, yes. And that I did read that. And that is very fucking confusing.
Yeah. It's super confusing because they're on the floor. And then you have like the will they wear masks thing right here. So on the bench, they're going to spread them out. So going to be 2 rows of players versus the one very long row. And the front row does not have to wear a mask. The second row does.
Okay.
So I'm hoping what they're going to do is the guys who come off the floor get to sit in the front row, and the people who've been sitting for a while can rotate to the back while the people who just get on the floor can catch their breath. But imagine you just come off the floor and LeBron's like, nah, bro, I'm not giving up my seat. You got to sit behind me on this mask while you're hyperventilating.
Well, and not only that, if by your logic, if they did do that, they would have to disinfect the seat if they were going to be rotating seats. You know what I mean? I would assume that they're going to just allow them to sit in their own filth, right?
I guess I don't even know, because the thing is, the last thing I read about COVID was like they now believe it to just be airborne. The surface thing is now gone, so you don't have to wipe down surfaces every time you touch them anymore.
But good. Well, maybe I'll get some cleaning products in here now.
The first week,
the
first month, or rather, first like month and a half, or even 2 months, really.
Yeah,
people were scared to touch anything.
Yep.
But now they're saying it doesn't exist on surfaces.
Oh, so then you didn't even have to wash your fucking hands for 20 seconds.
I mean,
listen, you should be washing your hands anyway. Hold on, I'm sorry. Let me take that back for 1 second, because I don't want people to think I'm a fucking dirtball. Wash your hands. Yeah. It's disgusting. It's filthy.
Yeah.
for other reasons, but just for these reasons, maybe it didn't even make sense because that was the concern, right? If you're touching things and then you touch your face.
Well, the other thing is too is like a lot of other illnesses are surface can exist on surfaces rather, and I think it was important to learn that like just like touching soap to your hand and then just wiping it off, or as you know just as well as I do, many men don't wash their hands at all when they use the restroom. So because they're not physically touching the pee, they don't have to.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's the worst. And also learning like to wash it for that long.
Yeah.
Or I actually like I tend to wash my hands a lot because I have OCD and but or at least about my hands. But I actually saw a video that showed like how doctors wash their hands before they see patients. And like now that's how I wash my hands forever. And which
Even though
is
there was
much better.
there was a not that this has anything to do with this, but there was a shortly after this all started, there was a camera data that they were using that they realized that like only 15 or 18% of doctors were actually washing their hands in between patients like they're supposed to, and then like 20% would not wash their hands at all. It was a whole fucking thing. But as you know, the unintended consequences of when anything happens, you realize how shitty everybody is.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. All right.
No, like so like I actually applaud the league for being forward thinking versus saying like you can't do nothing. However, you're not allowed to leave your room. You cannot congregate with teammates in rooms.
Wow.
So in between practice and games, while you're in the room, you have to be in there. And they want them wearing masks while they're in the hotels unless they're eating. And unless they're in their room by themselves. So
I wonder if they're going to be this seems kind of stupid, but this is a thing for players like for Russ, right? That's like part of his self-expression is that walk from wherever, you know, the bus or whatever into the stadium. I mean, are these guys, you almost wonder, are these guys going to be dressing for these occasions like they typically do? It's not, again, an important question, but it's just like a thing that I don't think we ever consider.
No, I disagree. I think it is an important question because routine is really important.
That's a good point.
To athletes. Like there's so little that you actually control during the game or just in life period. Having routine is like a way to like cope with that thought of helplessness sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when there's so much pressure on like professional athletes. So going through your routine, picking out his outfit is part of him getting into his flow and part of him like getting comfortable to go do what he's going to do. And if he does, I'm sure he's still going to do it because of his personality. And who knows, like there might be camera crews like following them out of the hotel now.
Yeah.
But for some guys, it's definitely going to change a lot for them.
No, that's such a good point. I mean, to just that mental aspect. Nobody goes out looking like shit, right? You go out, you want to look nice. It's not really much different here. When you're at the gym, even we play basketball at the gym. I've had this conversation with guys at the gym. It's like if you don't feel like you look right, you're not necessarily going to perform well because it's gonna fuck with your head a little bit.
Yep.
That's a good point. So here's the entry about if someone leaves the campus here. So that's right. There are reasons they're allowed to leave. I don't see the reasons. Oh, here they are. So
like family stuff.
Yeah, family emergency, birth of a child, or other approved reasons. I know there was a wedding. I think funerals was another.
Sure.
And there was another I can't remember, but or some other ones I think I can't remember. But if they leave. But which I'm going to be honest with you, there really is I can't see how there's a difference. And maybe you can provide me another aspect here where there's a difference between you leaving on an excused absence and you leaving on an unexcused absence. You're still leaving. What is the difference? Why would they even make it any different here? I mean, are the teams going to be providing safety measures that's going to keep these guys safe? I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that they just realize that there's going to be some players that are probably going to feel like that they have to leave. So they want to get ahead of it and say, okay, you can go in these instances, but they don't want to say it's an open door policy because they will all leave because they
Yeah.
will all be in Miami
Yeah, that's true.
between games. So you have to sort of set that limit.
Hmm.
But also, if you come, you could never leave for any reason. A lot of players are going to opt out.
Yeah. No, that's okay. That's a good point.
So remember,
Yeah. Go.
There's no beaches in Disneyland, and for
No.
that
Yeah.
matter, in Orlando. Period.
Correct.
But there's some not that far though.
Correct. Yeah, it is in the middle of Florida. Miami, I think, is an hour away or something. I might be wrong. Um, what I found interesting about this was that they would give you the nasal testing if you left for an
Yeah.
inexcused absence, which to me sounds like a punishment.
Yes. And
That
it is.
that nasal testing is fucking vicious.
Yep.
Nobody would opt to do that.
Nope.
So if you leave unexcused, they're essentially going to jam a stick up your fucking nose into your brain.
Correct.
As payback for leaving.
Yep.
So I don't know. I do find that interesting.
Yeah, it's super fascinating. Like you got to be there. Basically, it's like another version of quarantine. It's something you get to hang out with your teammates, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. I mean,
did you hear about the ring thing?
what ring thing?
There's like a fitness tracker ring.
Oh, that can check their temperature.
Yeah, their temperature.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other things, and like if it seems like they're starting to show symptoms according to the ring, they'll then get tested or pulled out of a game or whatever.
Yeah, they did something similar to that in South Korea for people coming off of airports, where you download this app and you have to have something else, maybe some sort of bracelet that essentially checks for that. And if
they scan it.
Yeah, exactly. And if they realize, according to your app, that your temperature or whatever is spiking, they essentially come and get you.
Right.
So but that is up to the players, right? They don't need to use that. Like that's, I think that's they can opt to use it, but they don't have to use it. I guess, maybe players may not feel too good playing with this ring thing on their finger.
They don't wear it while they're playing. They don't have to wear it while they're playing, and there's another scenario I can't remember. Maybe while they're working out. But they want them to wear them in all their leisure time.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would make sense. The drug testing thing, they're not going to be testing recreational drugs.
Nope.
Which is good, honestly. They fucking shouldn't be anyway. Well, it depends. I don't know what else falls under recreational drugs outside of weed.
Oh, well, that'd be cocaine, all other kind of drugs like that.
So they're not going to be testing for for illegal recreational drugs either. I find that is kind of interesting.
All recreational drugs are illegal.
Yeah. I mean, but marijuana is the one that I think like everyone is like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Cocaine is not one of those. It's a hell of a drug, but it's not necessarily legal.
Did you hear about Malik Monk? We never talked about this. Did you hear about the Malik Monk thing?
Yeah, so I was looking it up because I heard it was cocaine.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find the smoking gun that said that is exactly why he was suspended. That he tested positive for cocaine. I couldn't find that. I just saw a little kid fall outside. Oh, I'm so sorry. Is he all right? He's okay. Is he? I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine.
I hope so. He has not gotten up yet. It could just be because he heard me laughing from up here.
Yeah, he's probably crying.
There he is.
Needed a second.
There he is. Poor kid. I hope he's okay. And he's breaking something. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. He's all right. He's okay. This is not an important story. I was talking to a girl one time who did not want to talk to me anymore because I laughed at a kid who fell when I was on my way home from work one day. And that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
she's not the one.
She was not the one. If she can't laugh at the kid who fell. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I heard about. So I saw that rumor on Twitter, from somebody who, it's like one of those like NBA Twitter people.
Yeah.
But then I said I couldn't find the exact like the document that says suspended for cocaine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me either. And the thing is, I don't even know like what happened because like if the positive test came during quarantine, like they might have just come to some agreement like, all right, listen, we're just gonna do time served and we're not going to talk about it again.
Yeah, I was confused by that too. I thought I did vaguely remember him being suspended during the season, but who's paying attention to the fucking Hornets?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't remember. I mean, he you know, he's had a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, that's why if it's true, the drug use wouldn't be super surprising because
Yeah.
he's probably like losing a lot of confidence over the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
And
been up and down to say the least for him.
he needs to be on a better team for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll trade him for Al Horford straight up right now.
I think I would too, though.
Yeah, and his cocaine addiction. They can both come. I have no problem. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. So these are the teams. Any thoughts on the teams staying in these hotels together? I mean, the first one that jumps out is Sixers Rockets. You know, what are the chances that we're seeing Joe and Russ fighting somewhere in this hotel at some point? There's no choice. I think a lot of that is manufactured. That's on the floor beef.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't think they like each other. Yeah.
No. Yeah. So this is the thing is like, and I don't know these men obviously, but from everything we see from Russ, even after the games and between games, the stories you hear about him at restaurants and stuff, how he had like the food staff at OKC's like terrified of him. Like he just seems like an asshole most of the time, which is fine. Like I also identify sometimes as being an asshole.
Yes.
But like he's that way like far too often.
Yeah.
And like for Joe, I don't even think he thinks about these people.
Yeah, that's
when
true.
He's not on the floor or even scrolling through Instagram. But he only does. I mean, we throw it through Twitter.
Yeah.
But he only does it on Twitter because for him it's like a hobby.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I don't like. He's just so an easygoing guy, like almost to a fault.
Yeah.
That like I don't think like he would see Russ and be like, oh yeah, that guy, that little guy I dunked on that one time.
Yeah.
And then Russ is more like Jordan, where he's like, oh yeah, he dunked on me one time.
Yeah.
He's gonna try and do something about it, but he won't be able to.
I just picture that they end up in the cafeteria together, and Russ waves goodbye to him, like he waved in that one game, and they start waving goodbye to each other in the cafeteria.
Yeah, I could see that too. But Joe would be laughing under his mask.
Yeah.
While Russ is like about to flip the table.
I'm gonna murder his family. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, the one thing I am glad is that the Heat will be in a different hotel. So Jimmy will effectively be poisoning a whole different hotel. We won't have to worry about him poisoning our boys. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Did you see the picture of Jokic?
Yeah, the skinny Jokic.
Yeah, that is not great. Listen, this is not a body shaming thing, but I just watch him play, and he does like to throw his weight around. Like he likes to throw his body around. That body, he doesn't have a body to throw around any longer. So that's gonna be interesting. It may revolutionize him. Maybe it's a better thing. Maybe he becomes evolutionary Dirk or something like that. But it just seems weird. He's gonna be changing his game almost mid-season.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the Dirk was a scorer, right?
Yeah.
Where Jokic is first instinct is to play make.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the body thing makes any difference at all. We'll find out, but it definitely seemed weird, especially because like every offseason he gains weight. But then during the course, I guess he couldn't order out to all his favorite places and stuff, or he couldn't go clubbing and drinking.
I joked that his off season, that this is actually his off season body weight. We just didn't know he would gain weight to play basketball. But in the off season, he was getting crazy skinny.
He definitely was hitting up the club with his big ass brothers.
Yeah.
But I do agree though, because he's not, even if he's lighter, he's not a quick man. Well, like not a quick man for NBA standards.
Correct.
Nor is he fast.
Yeah.
So like being heavy, like you wouldn't think would hurt his game anyway.
Yeah. No. And again, I mean, when they need a basket, for sure he's a facilitator first. But there are times when he needs a basket that he will plant himself in the post and he'll move people. You know, he's a strong dude. He can rebound in traffic when they need it. And you just wonder about how him losing weight is going to help. Now, apparently on the other side, Luka has apparently gained weight, which we heard last offseason, though.
Yeah.
that he was out of shape coming into the season, and all of a sudden that out of shape is resulting in the 29-9-9. So who the
Yeah,
fuck knows
an
what that
MVP
means?
candidate. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows what that
You know,
means?
like with Joker, it's almost like, and they're two different planes of players. Like I'm not comparing them, but like when Jalil Okafor lost weight,
Mm-hmm.
but then was still slow and couldn't play defense or
Yeah,
anything. It's
couldn't
like
rebound effectively. Really,
it's like
yeah,
losing weight only helps if like you have shitty knees,
yeah,
or you're like Iguodala, who can like put on like 20 pounds of muscle mass in 3 months and realize I'm not a football player. I don't need this.
correct. Yeah, yeah, even with Embiid, I've said people say he needs to lose 20 pounds. I don't think he needs to lose weight. He really maybe needs to shred a little bit. You know what I mean? He needs to tone up, turn that into muscle, or just become more more whatchamacallit, more endurance. He needs more endurance.
Yeah,
Losing weight doesn't necessarily lead to more endurance. It could be a
yeah.
byproduct of working on your endurance. But
Hmm.
I've never ever really said Joel needs to lose weight necessarily.
Sure.
For some of these guys, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to help them.
Yeah, his like I don't think his game gets better
Yeah.
if he gets lighter. But what I do understand the logic, and I don't know if there's any scientific evidence that proves this, but the sort of like the conventional wisdom was always, if you're injury prone, you want to lose a little bit of weight so you're not putting so much stress on your
Pressure.
joint.
Yeah, correct.
So if that's the case, I understand it. But yeah, for him, it's just endurance.
Yeah,
Like he's still flying around
correct.
as an enormous human being.
Yeah, I mean, and the only other argument too is maybe would losing weight make him a little more aggressive on offensive rebounds and stuff like that, more willing to chase down rebounds. Maybe I don't know, but
No, I
for
don't
certain
think so.
guys, they don't need it. You know what I mean? And Joker, I don't. He needed to not be as thick. He was thick with 4 C's coming into the season. He needed to be thick 2 C's. Now he's just thick. He don't have the C. He don't have the K. He don't got nothing there. It's just
Slim thick.
THI. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's Vic thick is what he is. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna do about that.
Oh, I gotta tell you a story when we stop recording. We can't record the story, but I gotta tell you a story.
Okay.
All right. So now I want to ask your
Uh-huh.
thoughts on the hotline.
Oh, you know what? I don't think people are gonna be like people could not immediately, as soon as people found out about it, it was Chris
Yeah.
Paul. The first snitch, it
Yeah.
was Chris Paul immediately. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I
And
saw
I
that
was
too.
just like, I don't know. I don't know that players are going to be. Hold on. I don't know why in the world my boss is calling me right now. Um. What was I saying? I'm sorry. I don't know
Chris Paul being a
why.
snitch.
Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna be honest. I can't imagine players are going to be um are really going to be snitching on other players hanging out. You know what I mean? Or whatever they think that's going to be used for. I can't imagine that's actually going to go well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily believe it either.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wouldn't put it past some of those guys. But I would be more concerned about the coaches.
Okay.
That's more of my concern. So, like, I didn't see a lot of information about the hotline,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, is it just hearsay? Because, like, the first time, if
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
true.
hearsay, the first time it happens to one team, then every team's going to lose somebody.
Yeah,
If it happens to one, everybody
that's true.
who's good is going to lose somebody.
That's
Like,
true.
do I
Yeah.
need a pitcher, or do I need there's cameras everywhere in Disney.
Yeah.
Like, do you have to run back the footage and find proof, or is it
Yeah.
just my word is bond? Because if that's the case, then I do think that could be problematic.
Yeah, I find it. I mean, do we have? Are there details about how they're going to act on these accusations? If they say, "Oh, hey, LeBron and AD were hanging out after hours," like you said, one, does there need to be proof, and two, or is anyone going to be? I'm sorry, I'm distracted here by day job stuff. Is there going to be the proof? And two, what are going to be what's going to be the response of the NBA? Are they
Oh,
going
the
to say,
repercussion.
yeah, what are
They have to
repercussions?
quarantine for 10 days.
So they're going to quarantine. Well, listen, I'm telling you right now, they're going to. If they quarantine LeBron for 10 days, that means they're going to quarantine the finals for 10 days.
But that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like, I understand like once things get into the semifinals, like if I see Kawhi like in that video Kawhi that came out last year, with him like doing
Yeah.
strippers in his bed,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yo, Kawhi,
Kawhi's wilding out here.
Kawhi, you gotta go get your boy. Like
Yeah.
that's a crazy competitive advantage. But
Yeah.
then if I'm the Clippers, I'm just gonna, even if I didn't, I'm gonna make something up about LeBron or AD.
Doc Rivers 100% will snitch. I don't think Chris Paul is going to snitch because I think Chris Paul really does want to beat. I think Chris Paul, maybe I just love Chris Paul too much, but I think Chris Paul really is competitive and is not like, I don't give a fuck about this. I want to beat. Like if James Harden's on the other side, I want to fucking beat that dude. Fuck him. Now, would Russ call on James Harden because James is wilding? Yo, James is wilding out here, man. Somebody get him under control.
Oh my god. Well, the thing is with CP that we forget about is that he's the president of the Player Association.
Yeah.
And he's actually really good friends with a lot of the great players of his generation.
Yeah.
Now, could I see a scenario in which he rants on Kawhi or Paul George? So that, because first of all, bad blow with the Clippers and Doc, but then also helping his boy LeBron get to the finals or the semifinals so they could play each other. And then so that one of them ends up winning a title that year.
I'll be sickened by that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm speculating. I don't think any of this would actually happen, but I think it's, it could be.
If it happens to the Clippers, everyone should watch out. Doc is going to be speed dialing that fucking hotline.
Oh yeah.
On everybody and their mind. He's going to call the Pistons. He's going to call on Blake. He's going to say Blake was hanging out with somebody.
Bro,
the Pistons aren't here.
Well, you're not even thinking about Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly does not give a fuck about any friendships.
Yeah, but I think Patrick thinks he can defend Giannis, so I don't think he would want to call on Giannis. I think he would be like, I'm a quarantine Giannis with my defense. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I mean, as a response.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, yeah.
Reaction. Like if one of the Clippers get quarantined, Pat Beverly's gonna snitch on everybody.
Well, see, I think.
Literally everybody.
I think there's a difference. I think if they snitch on Kawhi or Paul George, I think Patrick Beverly, his mind shifts and he says, we're good enough with the guys here. We can do it. But if they take out like Montrez or Landry, he's clapping up the whole league. You know what I mean? Like he's going for every fucking body. I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. It's going to happen. I don't think there's a question. The thing is, it's going to be a situation. I'll tell you what's actually more likely to me to happen is a situation where they're actually not going to be able to police this because you're going to suspend one guy or you got to suspend all of them. You know what I mean? Because every one of them is going to be doing it. You know what I mean? You think you think some of these dudes are not going to hang out in their hotel rooms or whatever? That to me is an ask that is not possible. Tough. So while we're here, let's get to it. Let's talk about this then. I mean, players may not come to this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And here's the thing. I have been talking all along about how I don't want to put a asterisk on this, but that is completely based on if everybody shows up. But if you're telling me that the Lakers are showing up with just LeBron, AD, and 3 G League guys, and the Sixers are not complete, and these teams are not complete, well, then this is not a championship. Half the players aren't showing up. How can you even? This is no longer the NBA. You know what I mean? The NBA is comprised of basketball players, not old white dudes in suits that are drawing up plays on a clipboard. It's about basketball players too. So,
basketball players the most.
Yeah, it's literally about the players. It's called basketball, not fucking coaching BA, or executive BA. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine. I just don't see how. We don't know yet, right? We haven't seen guys actually come out. Now, this will bring us to the Kyrie thing. So let's just jump into that now.
Well, let me just stop. Let's go back.
Okay.
So there's some notes on players who can and can't go, and some of it also overlaps with coaches. So players who are considered to have season-ending injuries.
Okay.
they don't have to come.
Okay.
And
So LaMarcus, we already know wasn't coming, but
yeah, so like let's put a pin in that because this circles back to the Kyrie. This is what I think Perk was alluding to with the Kyrie thing.
Okay.
Also, players if they get like teams can like have like protected players basically.
Yeah.
Say that this guy is more at risk than the rest of the guys. We don't want him to come. If your team designates you with that, you still get paid, but you don't have to go.
Okay.
If you elect not to go, you don't get paid for those games that you don't play.
Yeah.
And then if you want to challenge your status, the NBA has like a board of health experts, and there's like a arbiter basically who's going to decide, make the final decision whether or not you should continue to get paid as like a protected player, or you get designated a player who opted not to come. So Perk alluded to that he knows something about Kyrie.
Okay.
And making all these, and like he's saying he's not going to out him, at least not yet. But like all the comments about like we shouldn't go for social justice reason, and like to talk about the league, which apparently some of his teammates have come out and said, well, not apparently did come out and say Kyrie didn't say that. But I think Kyrie might not come because of the injury.
Okay. Yeah. So I think this is going to be a separate segment here, right? So before we get into this Kyrie thing, everybody wash your stupid fucking hands, right? Follow the YouTube, follow the SoundCloud, because I think this part about Kyrie you're only going to hear on YouTube. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided, and I don't really make good decisions usually. So everybody wash your hands, stay safe. Victor, say goodbye. That was a pathetic goodbye.
Yeah. Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhyme that are coming from my mind. Used to come